Hi, everyone. My name is Sinja Hallam. I am an accredited leadership and executive coach with the International Coaching Federation, and I'm the founder of The Power to Transform. My work is all about helping leaders rise with clarity, courage, and a whole lot of heart. I'm a Silver Award winner at the Women Changing the World Global Awards in London, and I'm also a finalist in this year's APAC Regional Awards, still awaiting for the result. I'm also an international keynote speaker and a published author in the book called Begin It Now that was just recently released in Vancouver at the Americas Regional Awards and Summit. My business, The Power to Transform, exists to put the heart back into leadership. Through high-touch one-on-one coaching, my signature Intentionally You series, group coaching experiences like the Power Within Collective, and corporate workshops on trust, psychological safety, and navigating change, I help leaders become the version of themselves they know they are capable of being. My coaching is centered around my Wise Heart Mind leadership method. It's a framework based in neuroscience, strength profiling, and positive psychology to create lasting, sustainable change. I've spent the past 2 decades working in industries like oil and gas, mining, utilities, banking, higher education, and management consulting. And what I've learned is this: leadership isn't about titles, pressure, or perfection. It's about who you become and the ripple effect you create in the lives of the people around you. I arrived as the office princess in this environment, not a favorable term, as you can imagine, and I left as the Desert Fairy, a name that held much respect. In between those 2 words or terms was a whole heap of work to gain respect and trust. That is the foundation of my work today, to help women in male-dominant environments. I coach CEOs, senior executives, directors, and high-achieving women in male-dominant environments who are ready for more confidence, better boundaries, calmer decision-making, and a stronger presence. My clients come to me when they are overwhelmed, stretched thin, or doubting themselves, and they leave with clarity, grounded confidence, and the ability to lead with authenticity and impact. At my core, I believe that every leader deserves to feel powerful, purposeful, and deeply supported. And when one leader rises, entire teams, workplaces, and families rise with them. I'm excited to share more with you today about how we can rewrite change for ourselves, and I hope this conversation sparks something meaningful for you too. Here are some of the challenges my clients have shared with me as we race towards the end of the year. The fires are burning brightly and are burning out as the resources that are needed to keep them burning are being depleted faster than they can be replaced. So some of the things that people are telling me right now are I want to back and believe in myself. I wish I had more confidence to ask what I deserve and walk away from what isn't serving me. I want to stop people pleasing. I want to have stronger boundaries. I want to spend less time on work, and I want to be more present when I'm at home. I don't want to work after hours. I want to be with my family after hours. I need more time and less busyness and less madness in my life. I'd like to prioritize my health more rather than always prioritizing other people first. I want to have a career I'm passionate about, and when I'm at work, I work hard and make a difference, and when I'm home, I can feel fully present and fully committed to my family. I'm tired of the hustle culture and always having to be on. I'm sure you can relate to some of these things. And what I know to be true is that sometimes to be able to adopt some of the information or to be able to learn from the things that are presented to us, we need to have a grounded presence. So I'm going to start off a little bit differently today. I would like to invite you at this particular point in time to close your eyes and put your hand on a place of your body that's meaningful to you. I like to put my hand on my heart. And what I want you to do now is to invite yourself into presence. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, put the hand on your heart or other part of your body that feels meaningful to you. Not just in the room, but in yourself. Arrive. Let the day you've had so far fall behind and away, and whatever's come before this moment, emails, expectations, all the things, they don't need you right now. This is your space, a rare pause in the noise, a clearing, a recalibration just for yourself. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel your body supported. Your breath, your quiet, steady companion, flowing in and out like a tide. Go with it. Gently imagine closing the door on everything outside. Not forever, just for now. For the next 30 minutes or so, there is nothing to perform for you, nothing to prove, no version of you that needs editing. This is a return, a soft homecoming to the version of you that knows what matters, that's been there all along under the deadlines and the demands. The woman, the leader, the voice. Take another breath in, and this time, as you exhale, gift yourself this space and your full presence in it. May you meet yourself here with intention to take away something from today, with courage to be honest with yourself, and with the quiet power that comes when you no longer need to hustle to be heard. Welcome to the rewrite, how to thrive with change and not just survive it. So to begin, I know that we need to understand a few things about change. So when you hear the word change, I want you to quickly think about what comes to mind when you hear the word change. And over the time and the years that I've worked in change management, I've heard every possible response here, from excitement and challenging and beautiful new space of creation and innovation to, oh my God, I dread it, I can't stand it, I fear it, and everything else that sits in between. You can have all of the things that you want if you reframe the way that you think about change. So let's start on how we might do that. The platform that we need for us today to be able to take a leap of faith from is going to be in the next 3 slides, where I give you a little bit of background into change and how it shapes how we think about it. So this is what most change feels like, and I'm sure you can relate. It's a roller coaster ride. You've experienced change in your life a lot, and I know that at work, when we're always already busy, change is not always welcome. And sometimes in our lives, it's not welcome either, and so we ignore it the best way we can. But we feel like the woman here that is holding onto her script, white-knuckled, screaming, and wanting to push change away again. Or we sometimes feel like the woman on the other hand who is holding her hand, guiding her and having fun while she's doing so. So change is very personal and very unique to everybody. The thing that you need to understand for yourself is that there is a process that we go through when change comes our way. The process looks a little bit like this. right? When we first hear about any sort of change that we need to make or that is coming our way, we might actually go into shock. Oh my gosh, really? Now I can't believe that it's happening to me. So we immediately move into denial, or I don't want it to happen now. I'm just going to ignore it. Or we jump into frustration pretty quickly after that. This is so unfair and I can't do this. To maybe I can, and maybe it's not so bad, and I think I've got this. This cycle, depending on what type of change you are experiencing, is something that everybody goes through. All of those phases are present in everybody. Some people, though, the ones that thrive with change versus the one that survive with change, work out how to get through this process as fast as possible. They've worked out that where they place their energy around the change helps them either survive it or thrive with it. And I'm here to teach you today how you can thrive with it. So the next thing that I want you to know about change are that there are only 3 types of change. And I know we can think of many types of change, right? IT change, mergers and acquisitions, moving house, moving jobs, losing jobs, changing direction or changing your career. Many of those types of changes can fall into only 3 categories. They are the change that you can control, change you can influence, and change you can't control. Most of the change we experience in our lives is actually change we cannot control. So to waste our energy in that space is costing us time, it's costing us our well-being, it's costing us so many things, including our power. By focusing on the things that you can control or can influence, the energy shifts around that change. So let's talk about the things that we need to be able to adopt change more easily and to become a little bit more change friendly. And I promise you that there are only 2 things that you need. The first one is power. So some of us have a negative connotation with power because we think of it as a power over model, power over others. But the power that we actually have within us, sometimes we give away. In fact, power cannot be taken away from you. You can only give it away. And in some of the, in your previous lives or previous recent past, you might have given your power away through conditioning, remaining small, remaining unseen, not causing a fuss, not asking for help because it might look as weakness or we can't do our jobs. So it's eroding our power by believing that. We need to reframe that power over model for ourselves and go, how do we get power back within? And power back within, you can obtain relatively easily by focusing on 3 little hacks that I have for you. The first one is protect your well-being at all costs. I know for the people pleasers within us that sometimes this is something that we forego so that we can look after others first. But the principle here is that if you have an empty cup, there is no resources left within you, like a fire that needs logs and heat to keep burning. If you can't fuel yourself, then you have nothing left to give. And it's really important, as a woman especially, to understand that it is not selfish to look after yourself first. When you look after yourself first, you are well resourced to look after everybody else. Without looking after yourself first, you actually become depleted, empty, overwhelmed, and stretched too thin very quickly. So the first hack that I want you to do is look at the boundaries that you might need in your life or personal agreements that you might have to have with yourself. As an example, I choose to leave work at 5 p.m. every day so that I can be present with my family. And then the boundary is that you no longer look at your emails after hours. Or if you do choose to have and look at emails after hours, that there is a personal agreement with yourself that you will only do so after a certain amount of time has passed with your family. Let's say 9 p.m. as an example. You might choose to look at your emails for 15 minutes. Those are boundaries and personal agreements that we absolutely must put in place for ourselves to guard our well-being, to get off the treadmill of constantly being on and having the need to respond to things. Because those are stories that we are telling ourselves. We don't actually have to respond immediately to some of the emails that we do receive at night. And looking at them before bedtime is a really bad idea. So there might be another personal agreement that you might want to put in place. The second one is learning to ask for help. And I want to give you a little bit of a story from my own life here in this space on how I learned that asking for help actually adds value to other people's lives. I came home one day from work really stretched thin and having to cook dinner. We can all relate and we want to do it really quickly. The boys are hungry, my husband and my son. They want the food as fast as possible. Nobody's prepared anything. And here I am with the mental load of firstly having to figure out what I'm going to cook and secondly, then making that meal. As I was chopping the carrots, I felt a little bit angry and resentful. And the carrots were kind of flying everywhere in the kitchen. I kept having to pick them up. And my son offered some help. He said, "Mum, can I help you with anything?" I said, "No, thanks, I'm fine." Right? How often have you said that yourself? And he looked at me and he said, "Mum, I can actually see that you're not fine and I'm offering you my help. Is it not valuable to you?" And in that moment, I thought, oh my God, I don't want him to not feel valued. And what he's offering me, that his help is not valued either. And so in that moment, I learned by allowing him to help me, I'm actually adding value to his life and he's adding value to mine. So often when people ask us, "Can I offer you some help?" we say, "No, I'm fine." What we're actually telling them subconsciously is, "I don't need your help and your help is not valued." Many people, though, would be very willing to give that help to you. So the story is on you to actually accept it. Learn to accept it. The third one, the final one, is to give yourself permission to rest. So we do not need to earn our rest. What we need to do is give ourselves permission to actually rest. Rest helps us replenish, and once we're replenished, we can be productive again. So it's not selfish to rest, and it's not lazy either. Those, again, are stories we tell ourselves. And the best thing we can do for ourselves is to actually give ourselves permission to rest. It's okay, whatever that looks like for you. Choose it so that you can fill your cup. The second hack that we need is to reignite some of our power is to actually master your mindset. How we might do that is understanding that if you are unable to master your inner game, then you are also unable to master your outer game. Because what we portray to the outside world might look good, but it is not in alignment with how we feel on the inside. And believe it or not, that misalignment is actually felt by others. And what happens is that it erodes trust and respect. We don't see it, we don't feel it, it's not easily touched, but people understand that dissonance. So for us to be able to operate from positions of strength, we need to master our inner game first. And one of the things that would help us to do that is to let go of perfectionism. I know that many of you can relate to this. As an ex-ballerina, perfectionism was kind of drilled into me until I got to the point where I actually wanted to be part of a ballet company. And this is where the biggest learning for me came from my ballet master telling me that perfectionism is not going to get you to the stage. Excellence is, and there is a difference between what perfection and what excellence looks like. Perfection is you actually subconsciously trying to avoid the criticism that you might get if you're doing something not quite right. Excellence in you understands that I don't have to be perfect right now because I'm still learning. And to be able to learn and master something, I need the feedback. So by getting the feedback, you are able to translate that feedback into whatever you need to master something. In my instance, it was ballet moves to make them look easy on stage. If I didn't get that feedback, I wouldn't be able to do it. So understanding that I'm after excellence, I'm not after perfection. So much of that perfectionism that we carry within us is like, my life needs to look perfect, and a perfect looks like X, and we have a description of what that looks like for ourselves. And that then fuels what we call the inner critic, because we're not quite meeting that picture of perfection. We compare ourselves to others to get our baseline as to, are we at the same stage? Are we further ahead, or are we feeling behind? And most of the time we actually feel like we're behind, and we're not where we should be, or where we think we should be. So learning to minimize that inner critic and staying in your lane, not comparing yourself to others, is also going to help you reignite that, take your power back. So the last hack here is let go of all of the things you cannot control. Everything that you cannot control is beyond yourself at the moment. So you don't need to worry about it. Stay in the present moment and focus on the things that you can control. That's where the importance is for the time being. So leading yourself first is the key principle when it comes to change. You are amazing, and you can do this. You are amazing without the perfection. You are amazing with boundaries. You are amazing with energy. You are amazing with power. You just have to believe that you have to be able to lead yourself first before you can actually also lead others. So in this instance, to be able to lead ourselves first, I want to offer you the trust matrix. And it's easy to lead ourselves or others when things are going really well. But that's not when leadership really is required. Leadership really is required when things are not going well. And when things are not going well, our reptilian brain sometimes takes over from us, right? So sometimes we have the saboteurs sitting in there, like procrastination, victimization, or not having that strong inner critic, that inner judge that tells you that you're not good enough. All of those saboteurs start playing with your mind. So what I want you to understand is, when you are under pressure, do you lead yourself first and are in the quadrant of, I become very independent, I don't want to rely on others because I trust them less? Or are you in the quadrant where I trust myself and I also trust others, so I collaborate? Sometimes we also have people that actually disconnect. They don't trust themselves and they don't trust others when things are not going well, so they disconnect. Those are the people that, as a leader, you need to look out for, to bring them along on the journey. The fourth person that you might have is a person that becomes quite needy or dependent. So what they are looking for is guidance. They don't trust themselves enough, and they don't trust, but they trust others more than themselves to ask for that guidance. So in that moment, as a leader, the best thing for you to do is to be able to give it to them, and then when you're no longer in that difficult situation, teach them how to trust themselves more. So sometimes we also are three different types of people when it comes to interpersonal barriers for collaboration. We have the head people. They sit in their head all the time. They think about strategy, they think about process, and time is of the essence for them, so they move quickly. Then we have the heart people. I'm one of those. And those people place more importance on people around them, on the relationships that they've built with those people around them, and connection. They literally, when things don't go well, look for further connection. And make sure others are connected as well. And then you have the hands people. They get discombobulated when things don't go well and they don't have anything to do. They need something to do. They are very task-driven, outcome-oriented, and they seek momentum. So we need to understand which one of these types of people we are to be able to lead ourselves effectively in moments of stress, but also how to lead others in that moment. And this is where the concept of don't treat others the way you want to be treated. Treat others the way they want to be treated. The relationships that you will build in that space will be much stronger, and you will be operating from a position of strength, as will others, when you allow for that to happen. The tool that I would like to offer you for what you can control and what you can't control are these two circles of control. We feel out of control and we try and manage the environment around us when we feel out of control by focusing on the past, future tripping, worrying about what others think of us, worrying about the decisions others make on our behalves. We worry about the things that happen around us and we try to control them. We worry about others' opinions and how others view the outcome of our efforts. But everything, when we feel out of control and what we're trying to control in that space, is actually out of our control. So to get your presence back and to reignite your power, you can only focus on what's in your control, which is your thoughts, your beliefs, the way you react to certain situations, the way you speak to yourself, the energy that you give things to, or the energy that you give to things, sorry about that, and how you handle the challenges that come your way and the choices that you make within those. So those are the things that you can control, including the mindset, which is what we spoke about earlier, and the boundaries that you put in place to be able to fully appreciate your position of strength. The last hacks that I have for you to lead yourself first is learn to trust yourself. By focusing on the things that you can control and knowing where you are as a leader when things are not going your way, you learn to trust yourself and the choices that you make for yourself. Don't compare yourselves to others because they've reached different conclusions through different stories, through different experiences that they've had and the support that they've received along the way. And so have you. Yours looks different to theirs. So when you're comparing yourself to others, comparisonitis is the stealer of all joy. Don't do it. Learn not to compare yourself, but trust yourself and the decisions that you make for yourself, and know that those decisions are right for you with the information that you had at the time. When you have new information, you can change those decisions and those choices. Having a true north for yourself makes it much easier to make those decisions against. So as an example, the true north for me is that I always bring kindness and empathy into a work situation. So if I had to describe it in one sentence, my mission is to put the heart back into corporate. And all of the actions that I take are weighed against that mission or my purpose or my why. So once I know that it's going to lead me towards that, it's an easy decision for me to say yes. So I align it with my values so I can actually operate from a position of strength, not from a position of weakness. I know my values, I know what my mission is, I know what my purpose is. And am I heading towards that, yes or no? Makes it an easy decision. If it's yes, I go for it. And if the answer is no, I don't do it. I simply don't have enough energy or time in a day to focus on everything, especially things that won't get me to where I want to go. And then the last one is focusing on what matters to you. Everybody has importance in their lives, and nobody can take that away from you unless you give it the energy and let people take it away from you. So as an example, if you want to be more present with your family, that is the thing that is of most importance to you. Find ways for you to do that. using all of the other hacks that we've spoken about, mastering your mindset, and also taking your power back. The last thing that you will need to be able to take the leap of faith for change and make change happen is intentionality. So when you are very intentional with the choices you make, and bearing in mind that change has only three components, there are only three types of change: change you can control, change you can influence, and change that you have no influence or control over. Place your energy where it is mattering most. Be intentional about where you place that energy. So I'll give you some examples. If we are putting a new system in at work and it's an annoyance factor because there's already so much on your plate, would you rather place your energy in resisting that change because it doesn't suit you, or would you rather place your energy in learning that new system as fast as possible so you can get through that change as quickly as you can? So I know where I would be spending my energy, and it's not in resisting it. It's actually in figuring in, how do I make this get off my plate as soon as possible? I need to master something. Let me figure out how I master that quickly. Where do I get the information from that I need, right? Ask the questions, be curious, be intentional. That way, when you are placing your energy specifically where you know it's going to give you the shortest path to success, that is where you start thriving with change. Change is not going to change or become less. It's actually going to speed up and it's going to increase. And that's the pressures that we're feeling at the moment, is that change is a constant and we have to learn how to live with it, yet our bodies dislike it so much. So the idea of learning how to live with change and thrive with change is figuring out where you need to place your energy. If you, as an example, think that you need to eat more healthy and have a healthier lifestyle, then placing your energy into that space will actually help you generate the change that you need, versus resisting it and going, but I have to give up so many things to be able to do that. And I also like the things that I have to give up. Is you're perpetuating keeping the status quo. So again, being intentional allows you to take your power back and place the energy where you think it's going to be the most beneficial for you to get to the other side of what you're wanting to achieve for yourself. The quickest way is to place your energy in the things that you can control, not of the things that you can't control. So work out for yourself where that is in order for you to be able to make the changes that you need in your life, or that your team needs help with in your organizations. So to create that change and to create those ripples, empower yourself first. Lead with heart, bring the empathy and the kindness. Trust yourself that the decisions that you make will be the right ones for yourself, but also for your team. Be very intentional with where you place your energy and your time. Decide for yourself to take action, because those last two steps are the only thing that's holding you back from making the change happen, right? Let's hear that again. Those deciding to take a leap and then taking an action are the only two things that stop change from happening. So I'll leave you with two questions today. What shifted for you in this presentation, and what ripple would you like to make in this world? Thank you so much for being with me and listening to my presentation today. I really appreciate the gift of your time. I hope you got something out of this presentation that you can take with you into your everyday life and help you make change happen. Whether it's small or big, it takes one step towards an action that creates the next step for change. Again, my name is Sinja. I'm an executive personal and leadership coach, and I would love to meet you on the other side of this in real life. Thank you very much.